What's up, design family, and welcome back to another episode of Fittdesign TV. So glad to have you guys back on the channel. On today's episode, we'll be looking at seamless knitted garments, specifically for use in sportswear and activewear. If you've ever been interested in activewear and sportswear, most likely this is a technology that you would have heard of before. Brands like Alphalete, Gymshark, Lululemon are extremely well known to use seamless knitting technology to their full advantage. Essentially, the way it works is that there's a circular knitting loom that knits these garments as tubes, and these tubes are then cut, whether it's on the inseam or whether it's on the shoulders, in order to create and cut and sew the finished garment. What you end up with is an exceptionally well-fitted garment that conforms perfectly to the contours of your skin. On today's episode, I'll briefly take you through what seamless knitting is, how we can actually create garments using seamless knit technology, and ultimately, I'll take you through my top 10 reasons why this is definitely a category you should be investing in today. What's up, design family, and welcome to Fittdesign TV. So glad to have you here. On this channel, we discuss all things sports fashion, graphic design, manufacturing, and technology. We'll discuss key topics, answer pressing questions, and provide actionable steps on starting your own product line. If you're interested in any of the above topics, stick around. You're in for a good one. Number one is a complete freedom of body movement. When compared to a traditional cut and sew garment, what you notice on those types of garments is that you lose most of the stretch in the areas where these seams are actually structured, right? It's those seam portions specifically that have the lack of stretchability. With a seamless garment, you're actually eliminating most of that seam work, and ultimately you're ending up with a garment that has a lot of stretch across the board and is far superior in terms of its overall range of motion when compared to its cut and sew counterpart. Number two, and this is quite important for mass manufacturing, is you have a wider range of fit for different range of body types. What you'll notice on a seamless pair of leggings is because of the inherent stretch in that specific legging, it'll conform to a size small, a size medium. If you're a size medium, you could size down for a size small for a snugger, more compressive fit. If you're a size small, you could probably go up to a size medium and still have a very, very reasonable fit. When it comes to actually creating a mass manufacturing order, instead of having to order an extra small, small, medium, large, and XL to sort of cater to the wide range of body types that you might have in your customer base, you may only need a small, medium, and large. As a business, seamless is going to allow you to have more flexibility with your production and ultimately have more flexibility with the lack of returns because your garment is fitting better on a wider range of body types. Number three, seamless garments end up with an inherent softness because you eliminate all of the bulky seams that you appear on the shoulder line, on the side seam, on the underarm. You end up with a much more comfortable wearing experience. So this just creates an overall perceived softness that you just don't get with cut and sew garments that require those seam lines in order to actually be put together. Number four, believe it or not, using cut and sew technology is actually less cost efficient than using a seamless knit technology. Why is that? Most of the labor costs associated with creating a garment is the human involvement required to actually take the garment pieces and sew them together. With a seamless garment, a lot of that work is completely eliminated, thereby affording you a better labor cost per unit per product. And number five, seamless knitting operations actually require far less space than a traditional cut and sew operation. Why is that? Well, it comes down to the simple process of having to compose and put together the finished garment. Because you have fewer sewing lines with a seamless knit garment, as opposed to a cut and sew garment, you actually need fewer machines. You need fewer tables, you need fewer laborers, and ultimately you'll need much less space when it comes to your factory and your overall manufacturing operation. Number six is that there's a major reduction in your yarn and your fabric inventory requirements. Think about this, when you're cutting and sewing any garment, you never know how much fabric you might need. Yes, you can calculate this beforehand. And actually, you need to store the fabric so that it's ready to use as soon as you need to cut and sew the finished garment. When it comes to a seamless knitting operation, you're only knitting the yarn that you need to create into the finished garment. Number seven, you could produce quick and cost-efficient samples. Anyone who's ever been into a custom operation knows that sampling is an essential part of any sort of manufacturing process. When you're going into a manufacturing process, you want to be able to see a prototype of your design. You want to be able to see it for quality, for craftsmanship, and for the overall fit. When it comes to sampling, especially with a seamless knit process, sampling is much more cost efficient because you don't have to have fabric on hand. All you have to have is the yarns. You can actually seamlessly knit any logos, any branding, any trims into the garment, so you don't have to prepare those accessories beforehand. And ultimately, that's going to bring down your lead time, and it's going to reduce your cost per sample, which is going to allow you to give your customers a better experience. Or if you're a customer buying samples, it's going to be more cost efficient for you to prototype and develop your collection accordingly. Number 8 is that you're going to have fewer product failures. When it comes to most of the product failures that we see in mass manufacturing, they're going to come because of poor seam work and because of poor finishing on the garments. Because both of these elements are completely eliminated, or for the most part eliminated, with a seamless knit construction, you're actually going to eliminate that completely and end up with fewer product failures altogether. Number 9, seamless knit technology opens up the possibilities when it comes to engineering things like fit, function, ventilation. Think about this, because you have complete control over how you knit your garment, over the patterns that you knit into the garment. You can create a compression fit, you can create a relaxed fit, you can create an extremely lightweight fit. You can engineer pin dot holes into the underarms to create ventilation, to create overall stretchability. There's just a lot that you can do. Some of the best seamless knit garments that we see on the market actually are performing so well because they take inherent use out of the advantages of seamless garment technologies. Look at something like the Athlete Amplify legging. This is a legging that shapes the physique extremely well. It's composed of a 3-tier waistband that has multiple different types of knits on the waistband that actually taper off as you get towards the top. Why is that? Well, it's to create a more flattering fit on the waist. Most garments create this sort of muffin top effect because they have consistent compression from top to bottom. By using different knits as we compose or as we gradually elevate through the waistband and decreasing the tension towards the top, we don't pinch towards the top and we create an overall more flattering silhouette. Last but not least, number 10 is that your overall cost of production is less, and actually specifically 40% less when compared to the same cut and sew production. Because of everything we've outlined before, because of the lack of laborers required to create the seam work, because of the lack of defective products, because of the lack of having to store fabric beforehand in order to create your finished garments, you actually end up with a 40% cost reduction when it comes to your cut and sew operation as compared to your seamless knit garment operation. Well guys, that is it. That is a wrap on this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode and learned a thing or two. Let me know in the comments below which of these 10 points that you personally find to be the most appealing in favor of a seamless knit garment. Also, if you guys are interested in scheduling a consultation call, I hold limited slots every single week, and you can check the link in the description to book your call with me one-on-one. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Fittdesign TV. Until next week's episode, stay awesome.